However, I'll go along. You got to remember, you got a lot of things happening out here. Um, Gold and silver are going to continue to be very, very volatile. It's the nature of how things are. You got um, all this private funds heading into all these ETFs, exchange traded funds, or whatever you want to refer to them as. You have all these parties in the southeast, the far southeast, as some refer to it. They're doing more trade, and as a consequence of doing more trade, fewer of their folks are walking. They're looking to acquire land vessels. So demand is up for oil in that regard. Other areas, demand for oil is down. These parties, however, they're bringing all this economic activity to the table that has been offsetting the lack of economic activity in other areas. Where parties were having recessions and things of this nature, and where parties have been dealing with the contagion of various corporate legal fictions that have been struggling all throughout what some call Europe, as well as other parties, even those that are engaging in commerce here in North America. They call themselves dealing with a recovery scenario. It'll be interesting to see how things play out over the next few months, considering the fact that a particular corporation has decided to raise their interest rates for a second time since the summer. When they did the last time, gold and silver went through the roof, and non-substance-based economies with their non-substance-based currencies went through the floor. And you can expect to see it continue. They're going to see a situation now regarding inflation, as we've been talking about the whole time. And folks have been seeing it, but you're going to see it more now. Folks go to the stores and they're like, wow, everything is up and packaging is getting smaller. Well, yeah, these are the things that's going to occur, and they're going to continue. But now the harbinger of hyperinflation, because of all these non-commercial parties who are saying they've had enough of the madness, and you have all these commercial parties that are giving out commercial paper and printing more of this commercial paper than they can shake a stick at, that's not backed by anything. They're flooding out the various markets as they do all this. And so you have all this worthless paper, and sooner or later somebody gets stuck holding the check. It's the nature of how things are. So now what are you seeing? You are in fact seeing commodities going through the roof. You've got industrial commodities like cotton, aluminum, and things like that, copper. The industrial type commodities, they're white hot. Gold is cooled off after a serious run, but basically I told y'all, you can expect to see a cool off and a further cooling before there's going to be a massive run. Before the next 11 Earth months are out, you can expect to see gold basically 300 to 400 in silver more than what it is. So you're going to see that go through the roof as currencies continue to fall through the floor. As that occurs, inflation sets in. And as the inflation sets in, silver is going to become harder to acquire. It's going to increase in value. The intrinsic value in those precious metals are what's driving folks' demand. And that demand is expanding now because you have 1 billion folks plus that did not have access. All gold was government held at one point by particular parties in particular jurisdictions and venues. That's no longer the case. That's now been eased. So that's an additional amount of folks, a large portion, I might add, that is bringing demand for precious metals, in this instance gold. The price shall continue to skyrocket. That will pull more and more folks away from investing in organized gambling called stock markets. They'll move more into COMEX. They'll leave Forex because Forex is going to be mega volatile, and they'll be rushing headlong into substance commodities. So you continue to see corn and soybean and oil. Actually, oil has not had the white hot performance that platinum, gold, silver, and rhodium, and a few others, palladium, have been having, and copper. So, as Moors, it's important now, folks, to be clear, as we've been saying for the longest time. You have to have a substance-based economy. I'm waiting for the Moors to, in general anyway, to engage us. It is time for us to have a sit-down on a competent and viable monetary policy of by and for the Moors. And as the only house of Moors operational to the degree that we are, where we mint our own money and circulate our own money on our own terms and trade with our own money. If you're going to have an intelligent conversation about monetary policy of by and for the Moors, we have to have a seat at the table. And so we're looking forward to that. This spring we're looking to have the Moors Trade Fair and Symposium, where we look to have a sit down on that very subject, as well as a whole host of others for psycho-socioeconomic infrastructure.